G'day guys. I just thought I'd jump on and do this live just to sort of calm the jets of a few people that are sort of a little bit going at 100 mile an hour over this compensation plan. And I just don't, I don't want people to be getting the wrong impression. I don't want people to be getting the wrong idea about what we're trying to do here, and I think it's important that we just sort of, I'll put this up, and as people wake up through the day, they can jump on and have a look. But welcome to the guys that have jumped on, and hello to you from Bali. So one thing about the compensation plan is that it has no secret doors. It has no hidden agenda, except the fact that for the last 7 months we've been working on the sustainability and longevity of the platform, and in order to satisfy everyone's requirement, there is a need for this, and I bought a very small part of it in not so long ago, and that was and I always said that it was the base for whatever layered system we wanted to go to from there. So just a few things I just want to address so that people can sort of begin to get familiar with the platform. There are going to be a lot of things coming out over the next few days. I mean, we have got some example returns based on different levels, but for now let's just go through a list that I've got here in order to maybe put aside some of the questions that people may have before we do an official Zoom of this at a later point, but just so that people can start to relax and sort of get a bit more of an understanding of what we're doing with this comp plan. So for starters, subscriptions will stay. Subscriptions are part of the operative costs of the system, and they will remain. So the 0.005 subscription, which is due on the 1st of each month, will remain. There's no change to that. That will be the same, and obviously expected to pay. If it's not paid, well then obviously your accounts and your returns, same, will be limited. So what we're in effect we're going to end up with two platforms. Okay, so one will be wound out, which is the current crypto growth platform, and obviously the new compensation plan that will remain for the next 5-10 years will obviously take over. So we're not after, and we're not asking people to make new deposits. What we're trying to do is to shift people over from one platform, I guess, to another, and how we do that will be by way of a transfer button that will be put into your crypto growth platform, and then you can start to move funds across into the new platform. So bear in mind that this is not an exercise to make people deposit new funds. This is a process of moving people into what will be the process that we will use for the minimum of at least the next 3 to 5 years, if not longer. So once again, you will have the ability to have a transfer button on the current web platform, move funds over onto the new platform, which will be exactly the same. So there's no changes to the way it looks. There's no changes to the way it works. There's no changes to any of that. It's just going to remain the same, except that on the 1st of August, you will have a transfer button on there, and if you want to open contracts under the new system, you will simply transfer from there, press a button, put the amount, transfer across. One thing I will say before I move on is that the process for the exited people will not change. It will stay the same. So there's no further dialogue to be added onto the people that have exited the system. The investment under the new comp plan is on a per contract basis, not an accumulated basis. So if you've got 10 $200 contracts, that does not put you as a gold member. You can have, to qualify for a gold member, there needs to be a deposit within that range of membership. You can, however, have 2 or 10 $200 contracts running, which still grants you the affiliate status. But once you get up into that $5,000 investment, that will then bring you up into the bronze level, so on and so forth. So that's how they are. They are run on a per contract basis, not an accumulated basis. As I said before, come the 1st of August, you have the opening of the new platform. There will be no current change on the old platform, except that you will have, as we're going to be winding that down, there will be no redeposit and no ability to deposit into the old platform. We will be increasing the withdrawals to 10% to allow people that want to withdraw to 10% can do so from the old platform, or if not, transfer to the new one. I've had someone say to me over the last 24 hours, oh, well, I don't have $200 to transfer from the old platform to the new one. And whilst that's unfortunate, there's nothing we can do about that. What is scary is that this particular member has been with us for 9 months and does not have $200. So, unfortunately, that's it's the way it is, and we can't do that. They'll help that person unless he decides to make a fresh deposit into the new platform, which obviously he can do. As mentioned, the withdrawals on the current platform will increase to 10% for those that wish to withdraw and finish their days in the old platform, which we envisage will take approximately 90 days to wind out. But the withdrawals will increase to 10% on the old platform to enable people to get rid of their funds out of there if they don't wish to transfer over. I've had a lot of people ask me, why are we quoting US dollars as opposed to Bitcoin or crypto? What we're trying to do is make sure that the $200 does not, and we've experienced this in the past, so we are learning from what we've experienced in the past, and that is to quote 200 USD is far less volatile than quoting 0.02 Bitcoin. 0.02 Bitcoin could be worth anything based on the current market. If Bitcoin goes up, it could be worth $300-$400. If it goes down, it could be worth $50. So if we make it the equivalent of 200 USD, that brings stability back into what is the investment amount, and it also it takes away the volatility of that amount. So recently we've had to reduce minimum deposits as a result of the increase in Bitcoin. And once we put this platform on, we don't want to touch it. So therefore, we don't want to be altering minimums. 200 USD will always be 200 USD, and it'll stay as 200 USD. And that way people have the ability to say, righto, well, I need to invest 200 USD, which is whatever the Bitcoin rate is at that time. So that's why we've chosen the USD. What people need to understand is that if you read this program and you are trying to manipulate it, you are going to come up with a string of questions that are stupid. This program has been written by people that have had over 70 years MLM experience. Doug John has actually written compensation plans for a lot of the MLM companies, and the bottom line is that we have scrutinised this plan now for a long time, to the point where we made the decision that it was time to put it in. As I mentioned in the conference, the only problem I see within this platform is how we educate people to what this platform is really all about. Some will be able to, some will be not. The some that will be not will probably find the gate somewhere and will exit that way, and will probably do us all a big favour. For the people that stay, there is a very, very, very exciting future if you can financially structure yourself to abide by what this program can offer you without even taking into account lock-in bonuses and building teams and anything else. I did an exercise yesterday for a particular person here with an input of $200 with 2 withdrawals a year over 3 years. That person can officially retire at the end of year 3 with an income which allows them to do so without having to work another 20 years, and that is exciting. Where it's a win-win is if people utilise this as a investment strategy rather than a money grab, or utilise it using the mentality of what's been promoted in this space for a long time, where you're not going to be any better off, or you're not going to be any worse off, and we're probably going to be continuing to have the same conversations. So what I ask is that when I first read this program, and I'm not going to sit here and colour in anything, when I first read this program, I thought it was expensive. Expensive. It was complicated. I thought that at the end of the day, the expense that we were going to have in implementing it and the complications behind it were going to be far too excessive. When I actually took the time to read it twice, and I read it a third time, and I started discussing it, it all became very apparent to me that this was the way that we could guarantee longevity, not only for the company but for its members. So if you do, and like I said, it's the 25th of July at the moment, we've still got 6 days for this to launch. If you actually sat down, and even if your figures are wrong, but if you sat down and said to yourself, okay, I'm going to be able to transfer $5,000, I'm going to be a bronze member from where I am now, and if you sat down and worked out those $5,000 with that percentage, with a withdrawal strategy in place, you would find that you would be cheering, and so would the company, because obviously if the company is, if the members are cheering, the company is also. Now the other factor of this is that because a lot of our members now will have, and when I say will, there's, I think, a very small minority that have not got enough to transfer $200 over to start, or $5,000 or $10,000. There's plenty of people that can even look at rhodium level in this program as a transfer. So if if people start to understand it and take advantage of it, for networkers, this thing is gold, absolute gold. For individuals, this thing is gold if you apply it correctly. Now, whilst we were here in Bali, we had the privilege of spending some time with someone that is a CPA, or a fully qualified accountant, both in Australia and New Zealand. And he looked through the program and said to me, this is a one-stop ticket to retirement. However, if you utilise it as your tap and go card, it isn't going to be that. It'll just be just one of the same things that's been on the market once before. So the strength and the power behind this program is for people to sit down and provide themselves with a strategy that they're prepared to stick to. And what I'm going to attempt to do anyway over the next 5 or 6 days is provide a variety of different investment strategies that we've been building over over the last 12 months, and put them and make them public to people for them to potentially use or manipulate to suit themselves, whatever it may be. But the power in this is in the power of utilising the process and the program to its full ability. As Mark Anthony just finished saying here, and he's exactly right. I've built my platform over 12 months with minimum withdrawals. He's looking at a 50k transfer. And once Mark Anthony puts that in to a 50k program here, a 50k contract, and he utilises the power of each contract and continues his minimum withdrawals, I challenge Mark Anthony to bring out what the figures are at the end of 4 years or 3 years. They will rock your world. And that's what we want. We want astute people with investment strategies that can understand what is going to be a success for them, not tomorrow, not in 13 weeks, but in a year or two. That is what we're looking at bringing to the table here for our members. And as I said, I was basically saying at the conference is that, we've made the year. These next 2, 3, 4, 5 years is what's important. And, this program does give the ability to provide the magic that I talked about one day, and we can create magic here. So, for the purpose of clarity, please read this program, and I've already had some people that haven't. I had one particular question yesterday. So, if I put in $20,000 into affiliate, well, you can't. The only way you can put in $20,000 into affiliate is by having 10 contracts in affiliate running at $200. 100 programs running in at $200. And why would you do that? That just doesn't make any sense. So if you're going to come out with questions that don't make sense, you're only wasting everyone's time. And what I suggest is, rather than beating your chest and hearing the sound of your own voice by way of a comment, sit down, have a look, run some figures through the program, and basically understand it. Because I'm going to give you an example here now, and this is something that's very close to home, and probably a big surprise to the multitudes of wankers out there that think that I sit here utilising the platform's money. My wife has not been involved in this platform from day one. Why? Tried to explain it to her, too hard, didn't want to understand, didn't want a bar of it. She sat down with Trish Pearson the other day, Doug John's partner, and at the end of the night she said, "I totally understand it." I thought, oh, well, that's great. That's awesome that you understand it. At least I don't have to sit here talking to myself. I can actually share my thoughts with you now. She actually sat down on a beer coaster and worked out what $200 investment to her would mean over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, needless to say, she was looking for a referral link very, very quickly at the end of that. Now, I've not said a word to her. She did all that herself. She now understands this comp plan 100%. She understands the power of it, and she understands what $200 investment to her can make for her over the next 3 to 5 years. And as she said to me, if as soon as I have $200 more, I can open more deposits. And she did all that exercise herself. The figures were just absolutely nuts. They were bananas. So then she turned around to me and said, well, okay, if I'm going to make this money, how are you going to make sure that you can pay me? And I sat down and I shared with her, current investment strategies that we have and what her $200 actually makes this company. And needless to say that, she was sold on the concept. And like I said, I didn't have to do anything. It's just basically she went away and did the lot. So even though I was cut out of the potential new business because someone gave her a referral link quicker than I did, I'm happy that even though she is my wife, I'm happy that as a person, she's taken the time to understand the program, to work it out, but more importantly, work it out what it means to her. Okay, so she now 100%, and Craig Baker's on this chat, on this live, beg your pardon. I know Bobby and Andy are flying, but whoever's on this live that was with us last night for the purpose of conversation can confirm 100% what I'm saying to you is that she has worked out everything for herself without taking into account anything else bar what she wants to achieve from this platform. Now, if everybody actually sat down and did that, and read the compensation plan, worked out where the compensation plan or where they want to fit within that compensation plan, the story would be the same. Their story would be the same. Because as I said, if you can spend time looking at how there's a problem in the system, and we have those people that have got nothing better to do with their time than to sit and ask stupid questions, and then flutter off into chat groups when I hit them with a stick and say that I don't listen to them. I don't listen to them because there's been 4 accountants, 2 people with 70 years experience, an auditor, and a lot of people look at this compensation plan over the last 7 months. And I'm definitely, I believe that there's not going to be a numpty from somewhere else that's bored, that wants to jump on a chat group and talk shit, expose anything within this program. So what I ask is that you take the story that I've just given you. If you don't believe me, ask Craig Baker, ask Bobby Segal, ask Andy Gledhill, ask Mandine Smythe, ask Nicole Myers, ask Doug John, ask Terry Tambert. They've all experienced my wife's knowledge that has come from this. Now, as I said, this is an individual investment strategy that people need to look at. And that's why you need to take that same journey. Okay? That same journey, sit down with a piece of paper and a glass of wine or a beer or something and say, righto, well, this is how I'm going to do what I'm going to do. When someone says to me, oh, but I've already got an investment strategy, and I say, that's great, and they're looking for their withdrawal because they need to pay their holiday or they need to, buy new furniture, that's not an investment strategy, I'm sorry. That's not how an investment strategy works. An investment strategy eliminates all that and gives you the freedom to do the things you want to do when you want to do them. Okay? That's what this is all about. So just quickly, and I know that these are not all the questions that have been asked, but I just wanted to put to rest, some of the heartache, I guess, that people were going through. And I don't like people stressing out on Facebook, trying to find answers to things that there isn't. So just quickly to recap, before I tell you a couple of other things, the subscriptions are staying. So the subscriptions that are due on the 1st of each month will remain under this program. Okay, so there's no change to those. The process for the current people that have exited remains the same. There's no changes for that. They can continue waiting for their withdrawals and putting their withdrawals in on the 15th and the 30th of each month, and that will see that till the end of that. The investment in this current this new comp plan is on a per contract basis, not accumulated. So you can have, and I don't know why you would, but you can have more than one investment as an affiliate within the affiliate, but it's not taken as I've got 10 affiliate contracts, which makes me a gold member. Okay, so that's not how it works. So it is on a per contract basis. You have different levels of investment within this comp plan. 200 to 4,999 as affiliate, 5,000 onwards as bronze, etc., etc., etc. From the 1st of the 8th, 2019, the current platform will stay the same, no change, except you cannot redeposit and you will not be able to make new deposits. So we will grandfather that out for 90 days. The only difference you will see is that there will be a transfer button on the web platform which will allow you to transfer funds from there to open new contracts over into the new system. Okay? So you don't need to withdraw, cash in, make fresh deposits. As I said from the start, this isn't an exercise for fresh deposits. This is an exercise to move people over to a system that we can now say, righto, this is the way it's going to be for the next 3, 5, whatever years. Okay? Taken us a while to get there, but we got there at the end of the day. So there will be a button on the Crypto Growth platform to transfer over to the new funding platform. Okay? For those that don't want to transfer over to the new funding platform, the Crypto Growth platform withdrawals will escalate to 10%. So the 5% will go to 10%. People can start to withdraw 10% on the old platform on the 15th and 30th of each month. And that will, like I said, go from 5 to 10%. The reason why we have quoted this platform in US dollars as opposed to Bitcoin and crypto is to eliminate the volatility in the crypto market. So $200 US will remain $200 US till we all die. $200 worth of BTC will probably change up and down a million times before we die. So leaving it at 200 US, people can say, right, I need to put in 200 US equivalent of BTC, LTC, Ethereum, etc. That will make or get rid of the fact that we will not have to increase or decrease minimum deposits again, because it's just going to be 200 US, and whatever that 200 US is in crypto, that's what will remain. So that's how that goes in why we've quoted in US dollars. So it just makes it cleaner, and it just makes it gives us the ability to not have to keep changing the platform at a later point. So, and obviously then there's the 25% withdrawal of your balance on a weekly basis under the new system, which for those of you that have totally not listened to what I've said, allows you to withdraw 100% of your balance over your 13-week period if that's what you choose to do. Someone said to me, there's no redeposits, so we can't compound. Not true. You can compound by reopening new deposits, new contracts within your 13-week period. That's a super way to compound the current investment that you have. Why have we chosen on a per contract basis? It's just easier. If it's easier for people to, I believe, strategize their investment if they have a per contract basis. To give you an idea, we did a $50,000 investment example yesterday with 2 withdrawals a year. 2 withdrawals a year in the first year, 3 withdrawals in the second, 4 withdrawals in the third, 5 withdrawals on the fourth, and 6 withdrawals on the fifth. and I think you were plugging somewhere around about $200 million. Now, in a perfect world, people would say, "Oh, how can the company afford that?" Well, obviously, we're generating a lot more than that out of the use of that money for that period of time. But there would be very few people that could keep their hands out of the cookie jar for 5 years as that investment strategy unfolded. But look at the power of that with a 50K investment over a 5-year period. So just to recap, I ask you to sit down, work your own strategies out, put a plan in place, and see where this new comp plan takes you. If there's issues at that point in time that don't make sense to you, this I'm going to be continuously putting up chats about comments about questions. It gives you the ability to ask questions. We are going to be putting out magic number sheets to give people ideas or to give people templates to be able to run an investment strategy. I am going to be doing investment strategy lives to give people an understanding of what we're talking about with these investment strategies. I am going to be really wanting to sort of assist people in getting out of this recover your seed, and you will never build growth or wealth like that. So we are going to try and do as much as we possibly can over the next 6 days, to educate people and to give them the best possible opportunity moving forward on this new plan. So a couple of things that we I wanted to talk about is obviously withdrawals are still continuing. We're sort of getting, I haven't got an updated number at the moment, but I know we are getting through a lot of them. And for the people that, you don't need to send me an email and say thanks for the withdrawal, but I don't want to post it on Facebook. As I've said 100 times before, I don't particularly care if you don't. That's your prerogative. If you don't want to post that you've received the withdrawal on Facebook, I think it's sad that people get attacked when they do. But again, it's none of my business really. But I thank you for thanking me. I mean, I don't really have much to do with it, but I know the development team have been doing fabulous work to try and get these withdrawals out. And it was actually quite funny that last night at dinner, Craig Baker's partner received her withdrawal. She didn't shout for the dinner, but it was actually quite comforting that we were all there and something like that happened. So random, because obviously these developers don't know who she is, but they are ticking through them. We will have them finished well before the 30th, and we will move on from that. So that's where we are with withdrawals. A couple of exciting things that I do want to sort of talk about briefly is that for some time we've been working on the ability of creating a pension fund of sorts for people in the crypto space. And as I said, it's now come to fruition that we can, and how we can do this and bring it to a market, which is obviously our members. I don't know if you're aware of the instability, I guess, of pension funds throughout Europe, and obviously the problem that people have in retiring in Europe with little or no monetary income for the future. And it was something that I actually had this discussion with someone in London in November 2018. And at the time, my answer to this particular person was, we haven't been around long enough, and we've just got so much going on. However, time has passed, and the learning curve that we have is now giving us the ability to be able to bring something like that to the market. I don't know if you're aware of how pension funds work. However, that's something that will come to light over the next week as I start putting all that together. So, in the perfect world, pension funds are there to give people a retirement plan or the ability to have freedom whilst retired. And I think it's something that in the crypto space, for those of us that survive in the crypto space, there's probably nothing there. You can have an investment strategy such as this platform that gives you the ability to, create income whilst you're working or whatever. But there's really nothing that gives you the ability to park money away into a facility which is earning you money to a year that that you do call retirement, and obviously in different countries there's different ages. I know in Australia, it's gone from 55 to 65. It'll probably be 85 by the time I get to 55, and it'll probably go to 105 by the time I get to anywhere else. So it's the ability for the problem is that people have to work longer in order to survive. I mean, welfare systems in different countries are at explosion point, and they really can't afford to look after the people that have dedicated their whole life to the country, or worked in there for the whole life, to say, here's a decent retirement income. So RB are looking at, we are. RB will be launching its own pension fund shortly. And as I said, I will bring that to the table over the next few days. The other exciting thing is that arbitrage is just about ready to go. I know Bobby's in a plane flight now for 15 hours, but it's something that we have been looking for. And it is something that it will be beneficial to people to expand their horizons within the crypto trading space. So that's something that's also really exciting. But another thing which is, and I can't really say much about it now, but I will say enough for you to understand what I'm talking about, is that I've been saying for a long time that the RB platform and its particular ethos in this platform, in this space, has been attractive to a lot of different people, different companies that believe in the system and that want to be united with the system. There's negotiations current for an undisclosed amount of money for the business to sell a stake and take on a partner company within this platform to hurdle it into the next 5 or 10 years. At this stage, at this point in time, negotiations are on the foot, with a deadline of those negotiations to be completed by tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. There's elements within this negotiation that obviously what would my position be? They're not going to be taking they're going to be taking an ownership shareholding, but not a controlling shareholding. So unfortunately, sorry, you're still stuck with me. But the basis of this company and its value is something that we all need to be extremely proud of. As I said, if there's a stake which is sold to a partnership company that comes into this platform and is not controlling, is a very big achievement for us in such a very short period of time. And as I said, happy to release that information once the NDA expires at 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and everything's signed off. So that's some exciting things to take it in where we are. There's obviously some very good universe attractive things that have come to the company over its 12-month anniversary, which has been really exciting. And as I said, to be able to take on a partner company and still remain controlling over this platform, because I would never do that to you, is a very exciting thing. So I'll let you know what's going on with that tomorrow afternoon. Obviously, there's a lot to be spoken about over the next 6 days, as far as this comp plan goes, and we need to really look to the future now and really continue on. So I'll take a few questions now whilst I'm sitting here. I know that I've missed a question from someone about 4 times. It's been rattling around the place. So any questions, happy to answer them now for the next 5 minutes or so before we head off and pack and head to the airport. Thanks, guys, for all your kind words. It's obviously very... And I think this, like I said, I think this pension fund is going to be amazing if we get the support for it. It'll be obviously a great thing. I know there was someone asking a question. I hate it when I miss out on people. I think someone was asking, I did catch the sort of the arse end of it, is that, they didn't have 200 US to kick off an affiliate program. I don't understand if they mean they don't have $200 or they don't have US dollars. We're not putting in US dollars, we're putting in Bitcoin, crypto. So therefore, I don't know whether I've misinterpreted that question or not. Anyway, I'm sure she'll get to me at some point in time. Hey Don, yeah, mate. Look, I would never undersell this company. I've put in so much work, effort. What I am looking for is if someone wants to come in on this level to hurdle us into the future, I'm happy to talk. And at the moment, like I said, I like what I see. But as any business table, you like what you see, but you don't believe it until it's signed. So we'll see how we go with it all. So with my balance in the platform, when this system is up and running, can I transfer it? Yep, you can. So there will be a transfer button that you can shift straight across. Multiple coins, and some were under 200 US dollars. Okay, so with the multiple coin situation, if you have $200 worth of BTC and you have 120 worth of Litecoin and $50 worth of ETC and bananas, what we can do is you can transfer them over to the exchange. By the 1st of August, that exchange will be running just as good as Binance. You'll be able to chuck it over there, transfer it over to what you want, and then chuck it back into the platform and open a contract. So the conversions you'll be able to do yourself. What I am going to do is I'm going to do a walkthrough on how you will be able to do that, so that people are clear and that people can take their coins from the insufficient coins that they're withdrawing from the web platform and transfer them into other coins so that people can do that. Have all deposits and redeposits stopped on the platform now? No, they haven't. It's not the 1st of August. Will there be a deadline date to transfer over? Mark, it'll be roughly 90 days. It can't be done any quicker than that because obviously people have got redeposits clicking over. And I think the important thing at this stage is that, there's ample time for people to do that, ample time for people to think if they want to do that, ample time for people to be comfortable to do that. And I think a 90-day grandfathering is probably what we need. So I think we'll leave it at that and let people do what they want to do as they want to do it. Now, you are going to be getting, bombarded with walkthroughs and lives and podcasts and over the next 6 days. I want to just make something really clear. I do want to make sure that everybody who is going to be moving with RB for the next 10 years is clear. I think that's one thing that we've really fallen down on over the past 12 months is that, people have taken information and then, look for the secret door or come up with other methodologies that aren't exactly in line with what we're trying to do. Have we been clear? Probably not. So I want to really utilise, a lot of us will be back in our home countries by tomorrow, and that's when the barrage of information will start. But it's important to understand, as I said at the opening of this live, is that please look at the information and understand the information before you start asking questions about it. Go through it, write it down on a piece of paper, go through some numbers, even if the numbers are not remotely right, but you're doing the exercise to give you the information. So I think if we can do that ourselves, and I've given you an example of this story about my wife, who's taken her 12 months to understand this platform. I think if you will get merit out of that, because I think, as I said, it sort of dawned on me, and I went, oh, wow, okay. So, but as I said, for someone who's sat down now and structured her own investment strategy and understands this comp plan, and I'm not scared to say, but probably better than I do, really resonated in my head. Hey mate, going forward, the platform works in USD figures for both deposits and withdrawals. Currently, if we put in, this is one of those things that I need to make, here we go. Currently, if we put in one BTC at 171% return, we get one TC, but going forward, the return is not. That's it. These things go so quick. Vinod, can you email me that question, mate? Because it's important that I get a look at that, if you don't mind. Okay, there's no new website. The only thing is obviously the website will be changed to upload this information that we need. And that will be changed over, obviously, before 1st of August. But there is, as I said, I've got a program here of walkthroughs and lives, putting up example templates for people to have a look at. Yes, there was stuff said about the subs. They're not changing, they're staying. So there will be templates, there will be information that people can take away and apply to their own positions, their own standards, and get the information that they need. So that's where we are with it all. If the question is curly, and you don't want to, potentially a lot of people have said, look, I don't want to make an idiot of myself. Can I send you an email, and can I get an answer? Sure. I've got no problem with you doing that either. But as I said, don't look for the secret doors in this plan, because there is none. It is what it is. So, if you just accept it for what it is and apply it to yourself, you'll get all the answers you need. Will deposits and redeposits run out or be cut off on the 1st? Okay, so redeposits on the old platform, let's call it that, the old platform, will be cut off, so you won't be able to redeposit, and you won't be able to deposit in the old platform. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get people to build up their balance and transfer it across to the new system, withdraw it or whatever they want to do. But as I said, if you can transfer it across to the new system and start opening up your contracts there, that would be the best way to do it. Sir, there is 2% more for lock-in affiliate and only zero point 0.5 more in VIP. Yes, that's correct. Now ask yourself why. Okay, VIP are getting bigger return. They're getting a bigger return along the way. There's 100 more benefits in VIP, and we still do need to remember the little people, as we've been doing with these promotions over the last month. It's been for everyone to benefit, and that will still stay the same. Just missed a small bit. Can you pay into the new platform using Ethereum as it's... Yes, okay, so let's clarify that. Just because the platform says US dollars does not mean that you have to pay into the platform in US dollars. All we're doing is giving you the equivalent of what is the minimum deposit. So look at, the best way I can explain that is look at the US dollar amount and say, right, I need to deposit 200 US dollars worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum or Litecoin, ETC, NEO, whatever you want to do, but it has to be the equivalent of 200 US dollars, okay? If you want to go to bronze, for example, you need to deposit 5,000 USD worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever. So please utilize the US dollar amount as your guide. That is your guide. From there, you then apply that to crypto. So you can go to, on Google, you can go USD to BTC, and it'll tell you what 5,000 USD is in BTC. If you're going to do 200, it'll tell you what 200 USD is in BTC or Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever you want. So that is the way that you need to use the USD amount. So if I have, suppose, XRP balance, which is less than 200, but enough to pay subs, I can transfer, yes. Okay? And Medea, I'm going to do a live specifically on that to show people how to transfer insufficient balances into sufficient balances, so that you can do a cleanup of your coins and XRP, Tron, Neo, and turn it into a deposit of another coin if that's what you want to do. And I think that, like I said, is important. But I do want to say that a lot of people have bantered around over the last 24 hours that they're trying to get deposits. No, we're not. What we're trying to do is transfer people from one to another. By all means, if you want to open new contracts and make fresh deposits, go ahead. But this is not the exercise of what we're doing. That's it, where there will be a transfer button there to transfer your balance from the old platform to the new one. Can I just say that, Billy, subs are going to continue. So if people have paid their subs already for August, good job, because everyone else is going to have to pay them as well. Subs are not going out. Subs are an important part of our operation costs. They're an important part of maintaining the expenses of the platform without having to take anything from the platform. So subs will continue to be in effect. If you do not pay your subs on the new platform, if you haven't got subs paid at all, you will have no growth on new or old. So they need to be paid. We can transfer our balance. Yes, you can, Birch. So that's what I was just saying. Balances can be 100% transferred over. One of the lives that we will do will be how you identify the transfer of your balance from web platform over to the new one. Okay, so do you transfer and kick off if you've got, for those that want to, their investment strategy could be, right, well, I've got 10,000, I'm going to flick that over and I'm going to become, gold or whatever the level you get with 10,000. And then everything else is going to, to follow suit. What does that mean for me? Should I do that? Should I have one contract in gold or should I have two in bronze, or like someone said to me the other day, should I have one bronze contract, or should I have 10 affiliate contracts? And when we sat down and did the figures, it was quite obvious which one was better for him. And they're the things that this comp plan make you have to think about. Okay, and that was the thing. There's no longer I wanted to participate in something where someone comes in and chucks in $100 and expects dinner at Buckingham Palace. Those days are gone. Now what we're asking for is whoever comes here and whoever wants to be part of this needs to have a strategy, needs to have some thought, needs to have a very big understanding of what we're doing. This no longer is a the idiot's guide to making cryptocurrency so they can put in wirex and go out and drink beer on a Friday night. That's gone. And that was the important part about how we structured this and why it took so long to hit the market, because that's one of the big things that I wanted to omit from what we'd been experiencing in the past. And that was that people throw in $100 here, and as I said, and then they expect Rolls Royces and Ferraris, and that's it's just never going to happen. The other thing that obviously this is going to bring to a very big light are the people that have been utilizing this as the miracle money tree, and have been plucking money out of here like they do with dead chickens in a hot sink. They're not going to have their $200, and that's unfortunate. But as I said to I think it was Bobby Segal last night, I had a guy that emailed me and said, I don't have $200. And I thought, I've been speaking to this guy for quite some time. And, very, very early in the piece, when there was everyday withdrawals, and, obviously then withdrawals went, and then there was a stagnant, whatever. This guy has done over 110 withdrawals since this platform opened. And, in his last lot of withdrawals that were approved, he took 0.2. So if you took 0.2 on the 30th, and you haven't got $200 now, he needs a ticket to ride. And if he hasn't got $200 now, well, sorry about that, but it's you did have it. It's what you do with your money is your business. Okay, Roger, push that question back up again, mate. I just missed it. And it's exactly right. We're not here any longer to be someone's piggy bank. We're here to provide you a platform that will enable you to make money, but you need to start getting involved with it in order to make it happen. That's a lot of beer he drank, and yeah, I think so too, Andrew. I think so too. But it's always the sub stories. I mean, I've seen it within the All Stars group where people say, "Oh, I can't pay my subs," and they've just pulled out 0.2 of a Bitcoin. We're not a charity, unfortunately. Are we going to be at some point in time in life? Yes, we are. But there's people need to take some control of how they expend or how they spend their money. And if you want to continue drinking beer, you've got to make sure that your platform's giving you the ability to do that. But if you don't feed it, you're not going to get anything. And Mark Anthony, I've seen your messages come through, and it's a credit to you. I mean, Mark's one of the guys that sat here and not blurted about withdrawals, but has grown his platform over 12 months with minimum withdrawals, and now the happiest camper on earth, because the first contract he's going to whack open is a 50G one, a 50 grand one, and it's going to give him bananas money over the next 2, 3, 5 years if he keeps feeding it. And that's where this platform has been trying to be driven to. However, this silly space and the mentality of your Chris Arenas of the world and all that sort of stuff, who can't even budget their own households, let alone a downline of 400 people. They're the ones that have actually hurt people from having the knowledge to build themselves to a point now where, people like Mark Anthony. So it's a credit to you, mate. Roger, levels are based on coin, not overall investment, so could have different levels with different coins, correct? Absolutely. You can open a contract in whatever level for whatever coin, whatever suits you, Roger. You are in total control. Anyone else with some questions, guys, before I have to leave this fantastic joint to go to the airport? There you go, Ty Young, another one. Two lots of 50 grand. Credit to you guys. I mean, this is what. It's excellent to see, because this is what this platform has driven or wanted to drive people to. But like I said, unfortunately, it's the other part of the platform that tell people to withdraw your seed. That way you don't lose money. Yeah, of course you don't lose money. You don't make any either. So, unfortunate. All right, guys. Well, if that's all, like I said, this isn't the be-all and end-all of it. Sorry, can I talk briefly on the new JV? Yep, I can. All right. So when we came over here, we had been speaking to a company that's based here in Bali that are a construction company that build and bring to the market villas for the obviously the holiday let situation. At first, when we started talking, and they were telling me what their project was and how it was, I seemed to think that it may be a little bit underdone. However, when we got here and we saw it and met the company directors and met the builders and so on, these things are absolutely mint. So what they deliver is a one-bedroom villa with its own pool, lounge area, ensuite, finished, absolutely fantastic, in the heart of probably the best traffic area in Bali, which is a place called Seminyak, all for $212,000. And you get this leasehold for 25 years, which can be renewed for a longer period, but the occupancy rates here are between 90 and 95%, especially in Seminyak. So when you think that the average one-bedroom villa runs out at somewhere between $150 and $200 a night, if you start to do 90 to 95% occupancy, means that your $212,000 return over this particular rental market returns you somewhere in the vicinity of, between 25 and 30% per annum net. Now, for us, I know that rate of return isn't sensational, but if we look at what RB wants to bring to the market, such as a pension plan, for example, if we could have the pension plan driven with a base of a property portfolio returning those sorts of money, for every dollar that someone put into the pension plan, they'd be earning somewhere around 30 cents a day. And if it was locked in for a period of, say, 3 to 5 years, depending on age, what is that pension plan going to be worth for that person on retirement? And that's where the ideas started coming through my head. And once we started doing these figures, and we came and saw the product, it was a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. So we've acquired 1 2-bedroom unit, and again, the 2-bedroom units obviously rent at $240, $250, $260 a night. Realistically, I said to him, I'll take as many as you can build. So that's where RB money is going, into providing us a foundation of solid return. And then we've got obviously our other money, which is utilised in the joint venture arrangements, which stimulates our income monthly. But all this pool of money and generation of money goes into one thing, and that is the same thing, and that's to go back out to its members and to give us the ability to continue to do these things. But I suppose there's nothing more solid than real estate, and there's nothing more solid than the tourist market here in Bali as far as, rates of returns on villas. If I swing this around, for example, this is the villa that I'm staying in. It's got its own pool. These are very similar to what we've now bought. But to come to, and I know you'd rather look at that than me, but people want to come to Bali. They want to be able to have their own space. They want to, and this is what $250 a US a night gives you. It's a great way to holiday in a place like this. So, when I look at things like what we're going to do, I mean, as I said, the pension fund, the RB pension fund, will be talked about over the next week, and as I said, the ability for a pension fund to function is having the underlying income coming into that fund for people for when they retire. So in Australia, for example, if you had a pension fund and you're 48 like I am, you would need to lock away money for 7 years. So what are you putting money into that's going to give you in 7 years? Well, if you're putting money into, say, ours, for example, our pension fund, and this is just total example only, do not hold me to any of these figures, but if you've got money going into a facility that's being driven at 90 to 95% occupancy, and we're returning, the better part of 30% per annum to 40% per annum to people, and you put in $1,000, well then, and that's obviously 1,300 or 1,400 compounded over the next 7 years for me, for when I retire. I'd get a nice little chunk. Obviously, with a pension fund, the only way to make it attractive is to have it being driven by a company that is aggressive, giving you a return, but also feeding it. I have a self-managed super fund here in Australia, which is worthless really, because it's just a joke. But I'm putting the better part of, I think it's nearly $1,000 a month into that when I can, and if I can't, I try and put in there at least $200-300 a month, so that it keeps building for when I do retire, to be able to to have that there as a luxury of not having to go back out to work. So these pension funds are very powerful, and obviously the best way to guarantee a pension fund is with a real estate portfolio below it. So realistically, that's why we sort of took the avenue of going down the path of buying these things. My vision is, not a vision. My goal is to these boys have got another 22 villas planned for next year. I've already put my name on those 22, and I said that we'll take them off the plan, and we'll just continue to build the portfolio as big as we need it, and as wide as we need it, to ensure that the company has a strong base to, as I said, hurdle itself into the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So that's where we are. Unfortunately, guys, it's I've got to go. I've got to get myself sorted out. Or 29, Lloyd, sorry. And can I say just one thing? A big shout out and a big thank you to Lloyd James, who's one of our BIP guys. He is the one that's made this whole property transaction possible. He made the introductions. He put the deal to me, And as I said once before, what a greater way to have but our own members bringing these JVs to the table, bringing these opportunities for us to then, take advantage of, get involved in, and strengthen our company. So Lloyd, thank you very much for your help with all of that. Lloyd did come out to Bali, sat around a table. I think he might have snuck a villa out under his own pocket as well. He might have bought one. I know he was very keen. But one of the other VIPs came here and bought 2 villas for themselves as well. And as I said, we're not here to entrap the market. I mean, the opportunity is there for anybody that wants to, benefit from the opportunities that this company does bring to the table via its members. So, someone like Lloyd James that took the time out of his own job to make the introduction to me, obviously a dedicated VIP member, and said, "Hey, Laurie, come and have a look at this, and come over to Bali and let's meet these guys. Let's have a look." Turned out to be a very good thing for this platform. So I thank him very much for that. All right, so I need to go. Thank you very much for those that have jumped on. As I said, more information will be coming out. Do not panic. Please do me a favour. Read the comp plan. Get out a pen and paper. Do some figures for yourself. Get where you're going to be and see where you can be in 3 to 5 years with this comp plan. And I guarantee it, you will love it. So it is something that I think if once people just take the time to have a look and like I said, play around with the figures, you'll see that what we're doing here is for the best interest of you, for the best interest for the company. So for now, thank you very much, everyone. It's been a fantastic 4 days here in Bali. It's a pleasure of mine to take this company into our next 12-month journey. And it's been a pleasure because of you guys. It's been a pleasure because of our ups and downs and our mistakes. And, we had a bit of a chuckle about them last night. And I think now we've found the stable ground that we need, and we can push on. So thank you very much. God bless. Talk to you all soon, and have a great day wherever you may be, and stay safe. Thank you.